Hey, what's up, guys? This is Benny Ricciardi with rotocurve.com, and I'm here with our DraftKings NBA plays for Friday, January 22nd. There are 5 guys that are on the list at all different price points that we're going to talk about. So let's call up our slideshow and get into the 5 of the guys who we're going to be looking at for today's games. The 5 guys that we're going to be talking about here are Kemba Walker at 8,100, Terrence Jones at 4,700, Pau Gasol at 8,400, Myles Turner at 3,900, and Khris Middleton at 7K. The first guy on the list is going to be Kemba Walker at 8,100. It's not the greatest matchup that he has here against the Orlando Magic, but Nick Batum is out and Cody Zeller's out, and it looks like Jeremy Lamb might be out too. So that's a lot of shots that are opening up and a lot of points that they're going to need to come from somewhere else. Kemba seems to be the one guy on the Hornets who can pick up his production. You might get a better game today out of a guy like Jeremy Lin. You also might see a few more minutes for guys like Kaminsky and Hawes. But I think Kemba's the one who's going to be able to pick up his production and really make it pay off. He's going to be playing on a team with a lot of backup players here. So they're going to need his offense because I don't really see guys like Frank Kaminsky and Spencer Hawes and even Jeremy Lin putting up the 20, 25 points that they're losing by missing out on a guy like Batum or missing out on Zeller's inside work or even missing out on a guy like Jeremy Lamb who basically is in there to do one thing, and that's score. Now, one of the things that gives Kemba his upside is he is a very good defensive player, and he does wind up with a lot of steals. Elf Payton and Victor Oladipo are 2 guys who are not that careful with the ball. So I do think that Kemba can get a couple steals here to go along with the increase in points and the assists and rebounds and everything else that he brings to the table. So I do think at 8,100, Kemba Walker is going to be a pretty good play today. Next guy I want to talk about is the salary saving option. Terrence Jones is only 4,700 for the Houston Rockets. He's in a high-paced, high-scoring game going up against the Bucks here, and Dwight Howard is out, so Capella will be shifting over to the center spot, which will probably give Jones a start at the power forward spot. Now, the thing is, with these 2 guys basically being the only 2 big men that they have right now in Houston, I do think that they're both going to have to see big minutes. Now, breaking news for you, literally as we're coming on the air to do this video, it looks like the Rockets just traded the Clippers for Josh Smith again. So I'm not sure if he's going to be in uniform today. I don't know how this is going to affect Terrence Jones and, Clint Capella. I'm still waiting to get some more news on it myself. This trade literally just went down pretty much as we were, getting ready to shoot this video. But I'm still going to like Jones here either way. I don't know if Smith is even going to play. And even if he does, I can't imagine that he's going to play big minutes and take too many minutes away from guys like Jones and Capella, who are really the only 2 big men left with Howard and Montejunas both out. Now, Jones has been putting up 20 to 25 points anyway in about 20 to 25 minutes in his recent games. When he did see 30-plus minutes a couple games back and even earlier in the season, he's been a guy who's been giving you 30-plus fantasy points. Now, at 4,700, if he does play 30 minutes here and gives us 30 fantasy points, that's going to be over 6x value and really be a positive, addition to any of our rosters that we put him on. The Bucks are also pretty weak with their power forward defense, as Jabari Parker is not known as a lockdown defender. So I do think this is a good matchup, a good spot. Basically all the arrows are pointing up for Terrence Jones. I also don't hate Clint Capella if you wanted to go that way, but I think with the $1,000 discount I'm getting, I like Jones a little bit more. The next guy I want to talk about is someone I'm going to pay up for at the center position, and that's Pau Gasol. There's a high score and a high pace expected in this game between the Bulls and the Celtics. And with no Noah, Pau has seen a few more minutes. He's basically the only center option they have right now. They got a plethora of guys that can play power forward, Mirotic, Gibson, even Bobby Portis, the rookie. But Noah was the only real backup center that they had. So with him out, we're seeing Pau playing, probably 35 to 40 minutes in, this game here today. His scoring and rebounding are both up since Noah went out, which is a function of the minutes, but it's also a function of them asking him to do a little bit more in order to make up for, missing out on Noah. The Celtics front court is very weak on defense as well, so it's a really good matchup here for Pau Gasol. High-paced game, weak defense that he's going up against, at least front court defense-wise. And Pau has already played the Celtics twice this year and put up 46 and 47 fantasy points. That'd be like 5.5 to 6x value based off of what he's done. And remember, that was earlier in the season when they weren't asking him to do a little more. So Pau putting up 50 tonight wouldn't surprise me in the least and would give you a good chance to win a tournament with him on your roster. Next guy we're going to talk about is somebody who's at the lower end of the spectrum, and that's Myles Turner, the rookie big man for the Indiana Pacers. He's got a tough matchup against the Golden State Warriors, which is a little bit of a knock on him, but he's just way too cheap for the new role that they have him playing. He played 29 minutes in each of the last 2 games, and he put up 42 and 27 fantasy points. Now, he may even wind up starting today. I know he started the second half of the last game, and he should play a ton of minutes if Jan Mahimi is out again. Even if Mahimi is out again, it looks like they're trying to work Myles Turner into the rotation. If this guy gives you 25 to 30 minutes, I think there's a good chance that he's going to give you 25 to 30 fantasy points. And if he's doing it at less than a $4,000 price cost, I think you're getting great value off of the young Indiana big man. Again, we haven't even seen all of his skill set on display. Basically, he's just been doing this by getting 12 to 15 points and 7 to 10 rebounds. He's also a guy that can step out and shoot the 3 a little bit, and he's also a guy that should be racking up block shots because he's got a lot of length, a lot of athleticism. If we can see him add a couple of those things to his score, he could go real big here today for a small price. The next guy I'm going to talk about is Khris Middleton. He's in a paced-up game against the Houston Rockets without Howard to basically stay back there and rim protect. He draws a very weak defensive matchup because James Harden really doesn't play much defense. As a matter of fact, I like Harden too on the other side of this game, but you're getting almost a $3,000 discount with Middleton. And I think Middleton on offense going up against Harden defense is a much softer spot than Harden on offense going up against Middleton defense. Now, the other thing I love about Middleton is he's played 35 to 45 minutes in each of the last 8 games. And in only 2 of those games has he failed to reach at least 38 fantasy points. Now, 38 fantasy points is over 5.5 times value with his price at $7,000. So I think he is a guy that is both cash game safe and has the GPP upside because we've seen him put up quite a few games where he's gotten into the 40-point mark over his last couple, and that would give you the upside that you need to win a tournament here today. So in a fast-paced game with a really good matchup for him, I think this is a really good spot to look at Myles Turner. To look at Khris Middleton and roll him out there. Like I said, I don't hate James Harden on the other side of this game too, but I do think Middleton is cheaper, probably has more upside and a safer floor based off of his minutes and his, recent production at the price that they're asking for him at only $7K. So those are 5 guys that I'm going to be having in a lot of my lineups and building a lot of my lineups around today. Make sure you, check back and keep an ear to the grind on all of the injury news. One thing I just saw that popped down is that Victor Oladipo is likely to play today. So I know there's a lot of people talking about a lot of the guys in that Orlando team as value. Guys like Elf Payton, guys like Fournier, guys like Harris, who have all been, value guys that we've been using lately. If all those guys are back in play, maybe even an Aaron Gordon, if Oladipo is back in play, you got to think that all those guys see at least a few less minutes and probably ticks down all their production. So like we said, make sure you stay vigilant with all this news because it does change some of the guys who are in good and bad spots. But these are 5 guys who at the moment are going to be guys that we're building a lot of our lineups around here at RotoCurve today. So thank you guys for joining us. And as always, stay classy, BFS.